Hello and welcome to Breen Radio. This is your host, Mr. Breen, coming to you live from wherever it is that Mr. Breen lives. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about some very important issues, such as Latin verb morphology and just really Latin verb morphology. Now, before all of you rush to hurl yourselves down the stairs in an attempt to excuse yourself from coming to school tomorrow because of how intimidating this all seems, don't be intimidated. Remember, Latin is the language of the Roman Empire, the language that you are studying. A verb is just an action word. It's a good empire word because it's all about action, and every sentence has to have one of those, as hopefully you remember. And then there's morphology, which is just from two words that ultimately boil down to forms. When we're talking about morphology, we're talking about forms. As usual, when I'm talking about these things, I like to start out by talking about English. English is what linguists technically call insane. A small number of English verbs behave themselves. If you're learning English for the first time, they're very helpful because they operate by logical rules and logical patterns. Okay, they're helpful, so, for example, the word to help. That's a helpful one. Because if you wanted to say, he helps, you just say, he helps. Okay, you added an S. No big deal. If you wanted to say, they help, they help. Hey, it looks just like this form up top. Okay, you took away the S. No big deal. Let's go into the past tense. He helped. Hey, we just added this ed. Alright, that's easy enough. And they helped. It's the same. This is normal. And it's hard when it's not normal, and that's why you hear little kids a lot of times, over-regularize. So we'll see about that in a second. There are other verbs that are not as helpful, like the verb to be. If you wanted to say, he be, okay, you don't say he be, right? Unless you want people to look at you funny. You say, he is. It's a different form of the same word. It looks a lot like that, right? No, it doesn't look a lot like it. It is terrible. All right. And if you wanted to say they is, you still can't do that. You gotta just take off the S, right? No, okay. They are. Fantastic. Doesn't even look like either of the previous two. Good. Okay. So this is why you hear little kids say, he bees. Or they be. Okay. And then if you wanted to go into the past tense, it should be easy, right? You just add ed to the end. He is'd. He be'd. He was. Great. And if you want to say they were. Fantastic, awesome. People who are learning English for the first time hate English for the first time. Let's go over to go just really quickly. He goes. Hey, that followed our rule from before. Add an S and maybe an E if we need one. They go. Okay, still good so far. Now we're going to go into the past tense. He goed. Okay, you hear little kids say this because it follows the pattern, but it's really he went. Jeez. They went. Now it's just the same. That's messing with us here. All right. In any case, onward to Latin verbs, which are easy, easier. They are friendly. They are logical for the most part. They're not like English verbs, which are treacherous and mean and terrible. All right, anyway. So I'm going to give you three verbs here. Narrare, to tell, like a narrator, someone who tells a story. Attendere, which means to pay attention, which is what you guys should do during this video. To pay attention. And then we're going to get laborare, which you may be able to guess means to work, like labor. Okay, so in English, or in Latin, now I'm not going to give you all the different forms, okay? There are plenty of forms out there. They follow regular patterns. They're very nice. But all I'm going to give you is the third person, singular and plural. Okay, that is he verbs and they verb. That's all I'm going to give you. Okay, and it's really easy to tell the difference. For he tells, you're going to say nar at. And for they tell, nar ant. Okay, so for the singular, you're going to get a T. Okay, that's singular. He. For the plural, you're going to get NT. Plural. NT. So we're going to follow that same kind of pattern everywhere. Attended. Okay, just a T. Singular. And then attend for the plural, they pay attention. Attendant. Okay, you may be noticing that there's a little bit of vowel change there. That's fine. All you need to pay attention to is this T for the singular. He pays attention. The NT for the plural, they pay attention. And then for to work, if you want to say he works, you say laborat. Just a T. And for the plural, laborant. NT for the plural. T equals he, if you can read my writing there, and NT equals they. And that is simple, and we like simple. So that's all you have to remember. T, he. T, he. NT, they. That's for verbs.